Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, our parents of our international schools. This afternoon, we welcome you to our new initiatives for KG and primary students. We hope that this webinar this afternoon will give you some highlights, but also some key insights of what we're preparing to do this second semester for our KG students, as well as our primary students from grade 1 to grade 6. My name is Ali Kamara. I'm the academic director of Rawad International Schools. Here with me is Mr. Matthew Cooper, who is the head of academics for KG and primary. Also, we have Ms. Hayam, who is the academic supervisor for KG and primary. And we have Ms. Isra, who is the primary principal, and we have Ms. Ragged, who is the principal for KG. We hope that this webinar will be highly beneficial. Just to be clear, we will take questions later on and try to respond to them as best as we can. So please bear with us while we go through the webinar. Without taking too much time from this opening overview, I would like to pass on the mic to Ms. Hayam to start the webinar. Ms. Hayam.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, respected parents, our teachers, and our respected staff. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so happy that we have you all so we can start presenting our new initiatives for KG and the primary students webinar. This slide will present to you what we will be covering today. We will start with instructional delivery and the platforms, students' responsibilities during online learning, family and parents' roles and responsibilities, model plans for 2021-2022 academic year, assessment methods, taking English forward, MAP standardized assessment. And finally, we'll wrap it up by talking about training and development. The lockdowns in response to COVID-19 forced many schools worldwide, including our school, to close and move to distance learning. Our students and teachers alike were forced to adapt to new instructional methods, adhere to enhanced safety precautions, and master new technology in a condensed time frame. Yet, I'm happy and proud to say that these uncertain times have not diminished Ar-Rawad's commitment to providing excellent education in an effort to prepare our students. Ar-Rawad, alhamdulillah, successfully managed to adapt its systems and develop an academic delivery plan that will cope with all the circumstances that COVID-19 had implied. Based on that, this semester school will resume remote learning and subjects will be delivered online. There will be no in-person classes. Our school top priority is the health and the safety of all our students and our staff members. Safety plans and protocols have been in place since the beginning of the pandemic. However, up to this date, our school will continue to operate remotely, will remain flexible and responsive to evolving public health guidance. We will be using similarly the program Zoom for our live classroom, and we'll be using the program Schoology as our learning management system. For those of you who need a little refresher and for those who joined us recently, welcome by the way, we've put together a quick overview of navigating the platform Schoology. all students can log in to Schoology using the ID and the password sent by the school. If you look at on the top of my screen, you will see three main groups. We have courses, groups, and resources. The course dashboard is where you can navigate to your active courses. This is where you will find the Zoom link to access the synchronous virtual classes, learning content, grades, class announcements, and a chat box to communicate with your teachers. Schoology was adopted as the new remote learning management system because it's been rated in the top 10 of educational application programming interfaces, and it has a lot to offer. It offers flexible instructional tools, which allows the teacher to easily differentiate instruction for students of different abilities. Communication within Schoology goes beyond the classroom through system-wide messaging. In addition, every lesson has a built-in discussion board for learners to engage with each other. Teachers can use preloaded standards to track each learner's progress with the ability to view grading averages and expectations. Schoology's latest development is the assessment management platform. Assessment teams can be formed based on courses to determine standards. And the standards can easily be updated to apply to several courses at once. Teachers are able to update assessments automatically and save them in a central repository. The new tools allow for assessments that test students on multiple skills using diverse media with pictures and videos. Implementing an online education requires a partnership between parents, teachers, and students. Therefore, it's expected from our students to dedicate appropriate time to learning comparable to a school day, to turn off their microphones when it's not their turn to speak, to show respect to teachers and classmates, to use the microphone only when they are asked to keep up to date with the class announcements and folders, to participate actively and use the raise hand feature in Zoom to ask questions, to find a comfortable and quiet space to study and learn in the house, to engage in all learning posted with academic integrity, and to submit all assignments in accordance with provided timeline or due dates. Furthermore, you as parents will have a more active role in your child's day to everyday education. Therefore, it's essential families and parents support their children in their learning by providing an environment conducive to learning, to ensure that your children have access to internet connection, to ensure that your children attend the online lesson on time, engaging in conversations on posted materials or assignments, monitoring time spent engaging in online and offline learning, and support emotional balance by providing ample room and time for reflection, physical activity, conversation, and play. Although our school made very good efforts to provide remote teaching and learning during school closures, some students, particularly those with special educational needs and those at risk of educational disadvantage, may have experienced the impact of school closures in a very significant way. This impact is likely to have been further compounded by the loss of connectedness with school routines and engagement with teaching and learning. To provide additional supports for our students who have been most impacted by the disruption to in-school education resulting from COVID, we implemented CLASS in our adapted academic delivery plan, which stands for the COVID Learning and Support Scheme. Class is used to implement measures that enable students to fully engage in their learning during the 2021-2022 school year by providing additional support in relation to their educational and well-being needs. Class is applied through the e-learning platform support, academic support program, remedial program, and extracurricular activities. Online schooling has been an important tool to sustain skills development during the school closure, as it enables students to develop effective self-directed learning skills. That's why Ar-Rawad partnered with a number of e-learning platform companies worldwide to strengthen students' skills and their remote learning experiences. We partnered with Pearson, Scholastic, Scott Forsman, and recently with Bilarabi. Pearson, a British learning company, and in particular Pearson Realize, which is Savas, it's a digital learning platform that provides rich and engaging content, embedded assessment with instant data, and flexible classroom and management skills. Scholastic, an American and the world's largest publisher and distributor of children's books, connecting educators and families through accessibility, engagement, and expertise. Scott Forsman Reading Street, or Fresh Reads, delivers a classic and soon to be classic literature, scientific research-based instruction, and the wealth of groundbreaking online experiences for high student engagement, especially English language learners. Bilarabi offers the best educational children's games and the most beautiful new Arabic children's stories and illustrations, coloring games, and interactive mobile programs for children, supporting ways to learn Arabic by playing. Dear all, to improve educational outcomes, students whose learning has been most impacted by the pandemic, we introduced a COVID intensive learning support program that is offered through the supporting classes given every week to strengthen students' grasp of academics. لتعويض الفقد التعليمي. These supporting classes also provide additional targeted teaching support for students who have struggled most during the period of school closures, including those with more complex special educational needs and those at risk of educational disadvantage. Identify and meet the gaps in learning, in skills, in readiness to learn, or in the students' previously identified priority learning needs in order to mitigate and potential regression in learning. Allow for good routines to be reestablished and maintained to the greatest extent possible so that all students can learn effectively. Equip students with the necessary skills to experience success in learning throughout the school day. Ar-Rawad believes that students who have temporarily fallen behind in their studies or otherwise need short-term support in their learning, whether it's due to COVID or due to special needs, have the right to get remedial teaching. Therefore, we introduced our remedial program and applied the strategies like small group tutoring, individualized educational program, reward scheme, handling behavior problems, development of generic skills, assessment and record on learning, liaison with parents, coordination with other teachers. Our remedial programs are held every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. to not make any additional workload or stress for our students during the school week, as well as to increase the effectivity and the productivity of this program. Well-being is both a prerequisite and outcome of successful learning. It's essential to ensure that students have a sufficient sense of physical, emotional, and social well-being to engage in the learning. Ar-Rawad supports extracurricular activities to address the negative impact on students' well-being and to continue to foster students' sense of safety, calm, and connectedness. With art, academic activities like spelling bee, multiplication mania, and religious competitions like Al-Mishkat, Taj al-Noor, they are all added to our semester's calendar to promote students' well-being and break routine. Alhamdulillah, we worked really hard to make sure that our excellent education system is not negatively impacted or much altered in response to the pandemic. Here you see a table comparing assessment methods that were used in our in-person learning versus online learning. As you can see, there is actually no difference in the methods of assessment between both methods. And this shows how minimal the impact on student assessment methods is. We will continue using from KG to grade 2 our continuous assessment, and from grade 3 to grade 6 we will use short quizzes, mini projects, classwork and homework assignments, weekly checkpoint questions, and end of semester online exams. As an international school, English is the most valuable and distinguishing subject taught in our school. Here at Al-Rawad, we are continuously researching strategies and methods to take English forward. So far, we are using phonics screening, which is a compulsory assessment that all students take to confirm phonic decoding to an age-appropriate standard. Phonics screening allows teachers and parents to see how a child is progressing in phonics, a vital early reading skill, or that helps determine whether they need extra phonics help. We are also bringing the literacy strategy of leveled readers, in which teachers pair children with books that best match their reading abilities, and as children's reading skills improve, teachers assign them more complex books. We are also enriching our teachers with unparalleled writing and handwriting resources so that they could provide them to students and strengthen their writing skills. Again, going back to using our e-learning platform support, such as Literacy Planet, Fresh Reads, Pearson Realize, as learning English aid. And finally, and every week, we have our reading assessments that involve evaluation of fluency, accuracy, and reading with expression of our students. Now I will ask Mr. Cooper to take over the last 2 slides. Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Ms. Hayam. So just a reminder to our parents, don't forget that we have questions and answers coming up with our esteemed principals, Ms. Raghat and Ms. Isra. They're here to answer your questions after I've finished, inshallah. So we're going to speak about in the next 2 slides a little bit about assessment, and then the next slide after that, a bit about training and development. So it's vital going forward that we evaluate our students, particularly when we hope, inshallah, we don't know yet, but when they come back, that we will need to put in programs to support them and also possibly extend them as well. So when we talk about the MAP assessment, I want you to have other things in your mind as well. That assessment is, important whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face. And we're primarily going to talk about English and math. But I think sometimes we tend to forget as parents, myself included, that our students here in Rawad International School, they also have very strong skills in the Quran, the Tahfidh program. English is a second language program. Arabic is a second language program. Our students here, they have Islamic knowledge. They have Arabic knowledge, and they also have French. So we may, justifiably be slightly worried about our students and our sons and our daughters in English and in math, possibly, but don't forget, they have all these other skills as well, these life skills and the subjects that I also mentioned, which we tend to kind of sometimes overlook, I believe. So these are things that they will take into their university life, their adult life, those language skills, the Islamic knowledge, as I mentioned, and obviously the Quran as well. So bear that in mind, please, dear parents. So let's move on to math. So Al-Rawad International School is one of the few schools in Riyadh, sorry, that uses the MAP test, which is a standardized test, which is created by a company called Northwest Evaluation Association. And they are a renowned American education company that have developed this test, and it's, used worldwide by some of the top schools. And this program fits in with our overall assessment strategy and is an internationally recognized assessment program. So MAP is a non-timed computer adaptive test that the students sit online. Every student gets a unique set of test questions based on responses to previous questions. So if they start to answer questions incorrectly, then they will get slightly easier questions. If they continue to answer the questions correctly, the questions will become slightly harder again. And if the students, they will answer about 50% of the questions correctly. And by the end of the test, automatically, the computerized algorithm will assign the students a score which is called a RIT score. And this score reflects the student's academic knowledge, as I mentioned. We test here in English, reading, language usage, and math. And it will assess their skills and abilities. So their ability is also checked against their current grade level. And we're talking here from grade 4 to grade 8. And as part of our student intervention pathway, weaker students will be supported as a result of this RIT score. If they become lower in the RIT score, and let's say, for example, they're in grade 6, but they're scoring towards the lower end of grade 6, then it's our duty as a school to intervene, whether that's in reading, as we mentioned, language usage, or math. And we will put a program together to support them, whether that's in class or uploading things on Schoology or through the remedial program, as Ms. Hayam mentioned in the previous slide. So students could be assigned to one of those programs, or we have a meeting with the parent, or the student gets one-to-one support. Likewise for the extension. Could be extra homework, but basically the teacher and the managers, they'll get together, analyze the data with our assessment department, and put in a package to support individual students, or possibly groups of students, or year groups, or subjects. So we're prepared to do that. So the MAP test, inshallah, will be start in week 3 of this second semester. And I think you have already been given some information about the MAP test via the school website and through Twitter. If you haven't received that yet, then I advise you to go to our Twitter webpage or to our website, and you'll be able to keep up to date with the news. And you can see there at the bottom of the screen, the last part, there's a little link that you could maybe screenshot or take down there, and that will take you to a video regarding MAP. Or like I said, through Twitter. I'm quite an avid tweeter myself, so I use Twitter quite a lot. It's a very useful platform, and you'll be able to find out about MAP through our website, and also keep up to date with other things that are related to school life. Any other questions you have about MAP, like I said, there's a Q&A at the end, so you'll be able to post those, and hopefully we'll be able to respond to that. So that's MAP kind of summarized a little bit. So the next slide, please, I think Ms. Hayam, if you could move on to the next slide. Thank you. Is something that we've been taking very seriously and really enjoying, I also believe, all stakeholders in the school, and that is training and development. So that's our last point on the agenda today before the Q&A. So here in Al-Rawad, we believe from the keys to success are development of all stakeholders, progress in their professional lives, challenge between the stakeholders. We challenge the teachers to perform better. The challenge comes from the teachers to the managers to perform better. And we also believe in training at all levels. And the qualifications, knowledge and development at all levels and all stakeholders, all staff, teachers, managers, leaders, will definitely enhance the provision for our students. That will have a knock-on effect. So, I am very, very impressed, to be honest, with what I've seen so far in my short time at Rawad so far, about the amount and the high quality of the professional development that I personally received and also that the other staff and teachers and stakeholders have received as well. We've implemented, I believe, a very high quality training and development program for all stakeholders, teachers, leaders, managers, as I alluded to there. So from those things that are happening now in school are the PLC meetings. So the PLC meetings are a collaborative approach through teachers to professional development, in which small groups of educators and teachers, they meet regularly or once a week in the classrooms to discuss new things that they've learned, to share good practice, and to share expertise and insights from their teaching experiences and from the qualifications they've done through PSGN, which I'll talk about next. And also to engage in collective problem solving. So that may be in a year group, that the grade 5 maybe get together, they've been facing a particular problem, or they've been doing something really good. So they share that knowledge and practice. Or they've come across something that is a bit, tricky, or they've been having some problem with behavior, or not sure how to enhance a student, and they get together and they regularly discuss that. Their meeting minutes are then sent to us as managers, and we can make recommendations and support them to improve. So the PLC, professional learning communities, have been and will continue to be a very important part of development for our school and for our teachers. The next, which is the PSGN. Sorry, I don't know, there's a lot of abbreviations here, but that means Partner Schools Global Network. And this is a program that comes from the British Council, and they provide us with a series of certified courses which the stakeholders in the school can access for training. So it's like a global community. We also have access to the professionals within the British Council, so we can tap into their brains to get their good ideas and get support. So they provide us with professional support and this high quality service for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. And it gives us an access to a huge amount of resources and training, of which the courses are certified. So from those training courses, we have child protection, we have exam preparation, English language learning, and also one that I completed recently, which is related to special educational needs learning. So these things that the teachers study online and they get certified, then they can transfer that knowledge and those qualifications into the classroom to do what? To benefit our sons and daughters, to benefit our students. And this keeps us up to date. This is cutting edge stuff, the latest training, the latest development. So I believe this is a very powerful tool, along with the PLC, because they can share their ideas in that. This is a very powerful tool to take forward our provision and to develop our teaching practice and our practitioners. So hopefully that summed that up. Next is Cognia. So this year we will be accredited, or in 2022, we will be accredited, inshallah, by Cognia. Now, Cognia is the American organization which is responsible for the accreditation of international schools across the globe. They're an American education team, and they visit our schools, or they do an online inspection, and they basically inspect and accredit our processes, our teaching practice, everything that you can imagine related to school provision. And this helps us to make continuous improvement, because they make recommendations and we self-assess our own practice. We see where we think we're strong, we see where we think we need to improve, and then we can rectify, improve, or make interventions in our practice as leaders within the school. And this improvement encompasses the accreditation and the certification, the assessment, the professional learning, which I've just spoken about a little bit. It will analyze our map data, all these types of things, Elliot, and it will lead to them making recommendations for how we can improve and strengthen our school system, right down to our teaching practice and all across the board, leadership, teaching and learning, and resources. So this year, our reward has been chosen, and we have chosen also, to receive the corporate training and development package for our managers, our senior leaders, and some of our teachers, which is an amazing opportunity for high quality development and to receive this cutting edge, high quality training from the Cognia leaders themselves. And we've already had, I think it's 3 or 4 workshops that we've attended as leaders. And this has guided us on how we are going to interact with Cognia and how we can improve our school. So these training workshops are developing our skills. They're equipping us with the knowledge to drive continuous school improvement at the cutting edge of the educational field. And the team and myself personally, we're very excited and honoured to be taking part in this golden opportunity, because we all believe that teamwork makes the dream work. And our dream here is to improve or constantly improve the provision for our students by working together as a strong team. And I've definitely seen that happening in real life during my tenure here at Ibn Khaldun, and I'd like to thank the team personally for that. Next thing, we have our mentorship and mentors program. So not too much time on this, but we have many programs that not only support students, but also, for example, if a new teacher joins, or myself as a new manager, I join, then I receive a mentor and someone to help and support me. Likewise, the teacher that joins newly into our establishment, then they receive a mentor to support them. And again, this leads to improved provision for our students. I always think that before I do something in education, we should ask ourselves this question: does it improve the provision for the students? If it does, let's try and do it. If it doesn't, let's put it on the back burner and wait and see if we can improve. But these things that I've mentioned, leadership development programs, qualification courses, workshops, education workshops, the mentoring program, all of these things, they improve our provision. So we will be working, and we are working behind the scenes on that. And we know here, as you as our beloved parents, we don't yet have our students back in school, and we're hoping for a change soon. But you can rest assured that we are doing everything we possibly can behind the scenes, whether that's online from KG up to 6, or in school from grade 7 up to 12. We're doing everything we possibly can to make the provision, the best possible provision we can for you as the fee-paying parents. And we value your feedback, and we value your questions, which will come in the next section of the webinar. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope I gave you some valuable information. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew and Ms. Hayam, for this enlightening webinar for our parents. We will start looking at the questions and try to respond to them as best as we can. But before we start with the question that have been posted on the chat box, we would like to call on those parents that raised their hands. We'd like to call on those parents to actually say what they would like to say. We'll start with Badr.
Yes, thank you so much for this meeting. I would like to ask if students will start their classes at 7 a.m. And are there any new initiatives for this semester? For example, extra classes, attending classes at schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Badr. With regards to your question, there will be extra support classes. Our plan at the moment is still gearing towards next week to start in the second week. But we will confirm that by the end of this week, if we can start in the second week. Other than if we cannot start in the second week, we will start, inshallah, in week number 3 in the second semester. We are definitely putting a lot of efforts to ensure that these extra support classes take place, because we want to ensure that our children, our students, they're not going to miss out on core skills before they move to the next grade in the next academic year. I hope that answers your question. We call on Bana Adi to voice your concern, please. Okay, I will call on Ms. Mona Al-Jareed. Ms. Mona?
Yes, hi. Can I know when they're gonna come back to school, especially from grade 1 to 4, and when they're gonna come back to normal life, that they're gonna start from 7 a.m. Thanks.
Thank you for your question. I will leave that to Ms. Isra Rabia to respond to that, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Ms. Mona, as you know, this decision was from the ministry, and we would love to bring these students to school. It's better for them, it's better for us, and it's going to be, as you said, normal life again. But unfortunately, now it's hard, especially with the fifth wave of corona, and we're still waiting for their decision. However, we already claimed this to the ministry that we would like them to come at least once a week, but we're still waiting for their final decision. And regarding the morning classes, inshallah, we already did the survey last week. We're just waiting for the analyzing the data so we can, inshallah, decide if it's going to be morning or the afternoon. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, the next person on the list is Ms. Hanadi Ahmed.
I want to ask about Arabic curriculum. It's very poor. I didn't see any good progress for my daughter, as what I think the reason is not that you didn't put in your consideration COVID-19 circumstance, and they didn't get any extra classes for Arabic. Arabic is not good at all. What's your plan to cover this situation?
Okay, thank you for this question. It's very, very important question. I will leave this question to Ms. Ham to respond to this.
Yes, as we mentioned, we will have supporting classes, especially for Arabic, starting from week 2 this semester, inshallah. And we work on the Arabic skills and what the students exactly needs in these lower grades. Supporting classes will be twice a week. Okay, and the Arabic will be this subject for these supporting classes. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a question. Actually, we all know that this is a COVID situation going on, but actually, in this whole time of COVID, our kids are getting deteriorated. The studies are not at all acceptable at any level. Because mostly the teachers are making them mute, and they are asking questions, and nobody is listening. So this is what kind of studies is going on these days, and constantly their results are pathetic. So you need to ask these kind of things to the ministry, that at least once or twice or 3 times a week they need to start classes properly. At least they need to concerned about our kids, because they are constantly going down. They are not raising any kind of education.
Thank you for your concern there, Mr. Khan. As Ms. Isra mentioned earlier on, this is an ongoing concern for us as well with the ministry. And it's really difficult for us to go beyond the directives of the Ministry of Education. We're still in communication with them, try to make them understand that, the children really need face time. They need physical, attendance. But we are still waiting for them to give us the clearance. So, like you mentioned, it's not an easy situation for everyone. For us as a school management, for our teachers, and of course, our children, students, and for you, the parents. But we just have to be patient until hopefully they give us the clearance. It is very difficult, but we are doing everything we can. Our teachers are trying to make it engaging, collaborative, as best as they can. And inshallah, let's hope that over the next few weeks, some of the plans that we have in place will materialize. And we hope to bring the children, even if it's once or twice every week, that will go through. So we're still waiting for the ministry to respond to our request. Ms. Noor? Mr. Saleh?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Saleh. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for this information. Actually, about the proposal for the morning school for the elementary classes. My question, based on the survey that you requested, and I think most parents have already submitted their choices, whether it is morning or afternoon. My question, your decision, which as I heard now that it will be by end of this week or maximum by end of the second week. Is it going to be either morning or afternoon, or there could be a group in the morning and another group in the afternoon? And also, if it's gonna be only one choice, for example, morning only, is it for all elementary school classes, girls and boys? Or maybe like boys, they may go for morning and girls go for afternoon? Because I have a boy who's in 6th grade and I have a daughter, she's in 3rd grade. So I don't want that, for example, the boy will be in the morning and his sister will be in the afternoon. Should be either way, this one or that one. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saleh. Before I pass on this to Ms. Isra Arabia to go into more detail, the survey results are basically almost completed. And inshallah, we as school management, including the CEO, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. And we'll be discussing these issues, inshallah, to make a decision with regards to the number of students that have opt out for the morning shift and those that want to stay in the afternoon shift. But I'll give Ms. Isra the opportunity to also touch on this point as well. Ms. Isra.
Mr. Saleh, it's an excellent question, actually. As Mr. Ali said, we're having a meeting tomorrow regarding the results. However, if we're doing it in the afternoon or in the morning, we're not going to force any students to attend a duration that he doesn't like or he's not comfortable to attend morning or afternoon. If your answer was in the morning, then we'll have him or her in the morning and we're not going to shift. So it's whoever chose the morning will stick in the morning, whoever chose the afternoon will stick in the afternoon. And regarding the boys or the girls, like brother and sister, whatever you chose, you have to continue with your answer. You have to stick with your answer. So I can't say that we're gonna take all the students in the morning or all the students will make them in the afternoon. It depends on your answer. So, and then after that, when we see the result, when we see the numbers, inshallah, we'll make it two shifts and then we'll notify the parents, inshallah, by next week, hopefully. I hope I answered your question.
I would like also to add that, for not just Mr. Saleh that asked the question, but for all our parents that responded to the survey, please understand that this is not an easy decision for the school, but
Exactly.
also it's not an easy process, because what we are looking at here right now, we're going to do a lot of reshuffling, and this will create a lot of concerns for some of you, the parents, because some of the students may say, well, I don't want to lose my friends. Or some of them may say, my teacher, now she's going to be teaching in the morning shift and I don't want to lose my teacher. So there's a lot of things involved here. So we want you, if you can, to be patient with us until we finalize this situation. We will inform you immediately that the number of students that are going to be in the morning shift and the number of students going to be in the afternoon shift. So
Yeah, and I would like to add one point as well, Mr. Ali. The teacher will stick with the maximum number or the majority of the class. So I can't guarantee that the teacher will be in the afternoon. If I have more students would like to attend the morning class or the morning shifts, so the teacher will teach in the morning. So I can't guarantee the teacher because the majority of the students will go with the teacher. Is it clear? Hope it's.
thank you, Ms. Isra. Due to the time constraints, I will try to give at least 2 or 3 more people to actually voice the concern. And we will try to respond to your questions through the Q&A portal that we have as best as we can. And also the webinar slides will be fully translated in Arabic and will be put on the school website. And also even the recording of this webinar will be put on the school website. But you're welcome to visit the school at any time to talk to any of us, bi'idhnillah. So I'll call on, I don't know the name here, Tilly, is that the pronunciation?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
You hear me? You hear me? Okay. So I want to thank you for this presentation and clarification for different things. My concern, like almost most of the first to go back physically to the school, because really it's a big concern. I know that it's I don't know the school really for the ministry. Even with this, it should be raised people that to really to mention go for this physically to the for at least 2 days.
Mr. Tilly, your voice is breaking up. We can't hear you properly. Your voice is breaking up.
Now you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now better.
Okay, so just I say my first concern is about the going back physically to the school, because this is really it's a big concern for most of students, and I don't know if private schools maybe I don't know that private school they can have some measurement, some regulation a little bit different to the other school. So the second thing is about the survey that we need it as soon as possible as you can. I know it's big for you and you do a good work, but we need it as soon as possible, please.
Thank you. Just like we mentioned before, yes, we are an international school. We are private international schools, but remember that we are governed and supervised by the Ministry of Education in Saudi Arabia. So whenever they give us directives, we have to follow them. And if we don't follow them, there are consequences which sometimes results to heavy fines. So we are very particular about this because they keep stressing out to us that, the reason why they put these measures in place and really sticking out with the online classes for our children is to protect them. They keep saying that the safety is what comes first. So we understand the frustration of our parents, even our teachers, even for us, the management of the school, and of course our students. But there's so much we can do. So we will continue to have dialogue with them, and hopefully, like I mentioned, over the next couple of weeks, we'll try to see what we can do to bring the students in, even if it's once or twice every week. So may Allah make it easy for us.
Thank you.
I would like to call on Tariq. Tariq.
أيوة السلام عليكم. Just my concern, just we have 2 previous survey, and we just vote for that. We didn't get result. And for this survey, we've got only 2 times, only from 7 till 10:30 or from 3:30 till 7 o'clock, which is one of them very early for kids, one of them very late for kids. For the last year, we began the school at 9 o'clock, which is perfect for the morning session. Why we make this at 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock?
Tariq, thank you so much for your concern and your question as well. Honestly speaking, maybe Isra can also touch base on this. The vast majority of parents, they've been voicing their concern. They've been asking for 7 a.m. in the morning. So because the ministry has given us the timing from 3:30 to 7, this is one of the main reasons why we put those 2 timings. Because on one hand, we want to meet the ministry regulations, but on the other hand, we want to provide and satisfy, most of our or some of our parents and students. So this is the main reason why those 2 timings are there. But Ms. Isra can also touch base on this as well.
Yeah, as you said, Mr. Ali, because actually most who ask are 7 o'clock because they have kids from grade 7 and above. So they would like to start their siblings to start at the same time, or their kids to start at the same time. That's why we don't want to make it harder, either the ministry timing or everyone else's timing.
This will be the last, person that we can allow to go ahead and say something, and we will respond to the questions, Q&A, inshallah, our school website. And like I said again, you can visit the school or try to contact us directly. I think it's Muayyad Imad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I would like to ask you about the math test. Is there any subject to study, like for the kids? Is there any subject to study for the English and math?
Okay, I will pass this on to Mr. Matthew. Matthew?
Assalamu alaikum. Good question. I think it's from a student here. I mean, the advice would be is to study well while you're studying with us. The books that we study from, I'm not sure exactly which grade you're in, but whether it's in Reading Street or my perspectives from 6 to 8, then study those well and practice your reading. Every student, practicing reading and reading across a wide range of books will help you with your comprehension. It will help you with your vocabulary. So really study well what you've studied in Reading Street or wherever it is you've studied here. Look at the grammar, look at the spelling, do some comprehension activities, and likewise your math. Revise your math. The books that we're studying here are American, and the MAP test is an American-based assessment. So if you study those well, I'm sure you'll do very well in the MAP test. And wish you the best with that, inshallah.
You study the books in your son's grade. Like your son study, like for example, my son is grade 6.
Exactly.
He study grade 6 in English book?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Imad, just to add what Mr. Mohsin have said, this assessment is adaptive assessment. Is to check on your progress and growth. Remember, it's not a pass or fail exam or assessment. It's not to say that you pass or you fail. It's just to check on your academic progress, to see where you are and what you're basically missing, if you're missing anything, and what we can do to support you to grow and reach at your grade level. Okay, so like Mr. Matthew said, just review the notes that they've given you in English and in math as well. And maybe we may provide some websites for you to do some practice tests, but you don't have to study like you're studying for an exam. Okay? I think that's the last person that we will allow to talk because of the time, and they've called the adhan for Salatul Asr. Like I said, we apologize again to the rest of the parents that didn't have the opportunity to raise their concern verbally, but we will try to respond to your questions, inshallah, in our Q&A portals. So please try to be patient with us. And if you need direct, contact with us, you can come directly to the school, or you can try to ring us through our direct lines. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Ham, Mr. Matthew, Ms. Isra, Ms. Ragged, for presenting this webinar this afternoon. And once again, my name is Ali Kamara, the Academic Director of the school. And any of you are welcome to visit me in the registration building to discuss about your children's academic progress. And once again, we thank each and every one of you for attending this webinar this afternoon. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.